Welcome to the show. Again, as always, I want to bring you with the very latest on the COVID-19 situation as Texas begins to reopen very slowly. Here in the coastal band, we could. So let's begin by looking at the very latest. 53, no new cases, 2 under investigation as of today, as of yesterday. 253 total person-to-person, no new cases. No new cases of deaths, number of cases, age group. 2 new tests from the Oasis County Public Health District. Total tested. So now, so as always, wear a mask when you go out and make sure you're staying 6 feet. That way we can be safe from the virus, and always wear masks. But the thing about masks is it really protecting the virus? There's another thing you can do, like wear plastic masks. They can be really safe to use in tough situations. Like I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there, at least. Alright, so a few days ago we talked about dress code violations that are in the news. So we're going to continue where we left off yesterday. We were left off a few weeks ago, like a week ago. We showed you news topics, news articles that are related to this. I mean, some people are crying all over the dress code policy, and the question is, does the school have the right to have parents go in the dress code? Let's finish up here. This violation happened 5 years ago when she was being graduated as valedictorian, but she was denied it after her dress code use. Listen.
Break any rules purposely. You are trying to define the school system or the dress code.
Dress code disqualification. A Fort Myers High School and honor student, class president, and team captain stripped of her prestigious title, all because she bared her shoulders during a speech. School administrators say she broke dress code, but she says that argument doesn't hold up. 4 in Your Corner's Katie Jones talking to the student and her family and taking their concerns straight to the district tonight.
Amy, 17-year-old Cam Boland, tells me she wanted to look nice for her National Honor Society county election speech here at Ida Baker High School earlier this month. She says it got too hot, so she took her jacket off, a move that ultimately got her disqualified. On top of all of her schoolwork and studying, extracurriculars are extremely important to 17-year-old Cam Boland.
I'm currently junior class president of Fort Myers High School. I'm captain of the girls basketball team.
She also recently ran for county historian for the National Honor Society. It's an elected position she had to give a speech for at Ida Baker High School in front of her peers and advisors. After the votes were tallied, Cam found out she'd won.
I was told I won, and 20 minutes later they said I could not be in my position because I had my shoulders exposed.
This is the dress Cam and another student who was also disqualified were wearing. Although this was an extracurricular event, it was held during the school day, so NHS advisors said the two violated the district's dress code.
I was wearing a dress because I never met previously any of the other students from other schools. I want to make a good impression. I want to look nice for a speech.
After she was disqualified, Cam apologized and asked to give the speech again with her jacket on. But she was told no, something that baffles her mom.
Honestly, I thought it was a joke at the beginning. I am a huge supporter of my community and my school. But when my school district fails, not just my student, but all students on their basic rights, I have a problem with it.
I took their concerns to the Lee County School District, and in a statement, a spokeswoman says in part, quote, "The dress code is an implied expectation for events during the school day, as was indicated by the more than 36 students that were in dress code on this day." I then asked what consequences students normally get, and I'm told they usually get a warning, but club sponsors, coaches, and other activities where membership is considered a privilege often articulate a higher set of standards for their students. Caroline Boland says her daughter's hard work and dedication shouldn't go unrewarded because of her wardrobe.
It defies everything I have taught, my husband and I have taught our children. It defies everything they have taught in school in terms of our process, our democracy, what a vote means, the privilege to vote.
Now, Cam's mom tells me she's been constantly reaching out to school administrators and board members, but isn't getting much of a response. She says if they don't get this issue settled soon, she plans to voice her concerns at next week's school board meeting. Reporting in Lee County, Katie Jones, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, thank you, Katie. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think the student deserves to be stripped of her title because of her shoulders showing?
I don't think not. For several reasons. I mean, you violate the dress code. Seriously, you violate the dress code. You should, even if you have an extracurricular activity, just say, okay, do you change your appearance and we'll give you the reward. I don't think you should just take it harsh. If she should have just wore the jacket, got the reward, then done. She didn't have to go all tank top and expose. There's a reason why we have a dress code. There's a reason that all school districts have that dress code. Just because of this. If it's a violation, it's a violation. And at the time, the administrators did not respond to her because they didn't want any part of this. But the media picked up on this story and followed in with this. Nobody's explained the situation. We have to understand that if they want the students to succeed, they got to follow the dress code. There's even more dress code we're going to talk about. About a year ago, there was a video during the 2019-2020 school year with the virus. There was a video that explained about a dress code use. People wearing too short athletic shorts in a North Texas school. Let's
Well,
listen.
the whole school saw it. Now the principal tonight is apologizing after getting a lot of complaints that it was sexist and also that it sent the wrong message to students. New at 10 o'clock, Marianne Martinez at Flower Mound's Marcus High School tonight for us. Marianne?
Well, Doug, that controversial video is one of 2 videos students saw on the second day of school regarding the dress code. The first was pretty generic, just what to wear and what not to wear. We'll go ahead and take a look at part of the second one.
Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. Live fast, die young, bad girls.
Okay, ladies, follow me. The girls are taken to a dress code violators room filled with only other girls.
Repeat after me. I will not wear athletic shorts.
The first thing that really hit me was the song. I've seen boys who wear tank tops. I've seen boys whose pants are sagging and showing their underwear band, and that's also not in dress code, but that wasn't addressed to me once.
In a letter to parents, Principal Will Skelton explained that a fashion show that demonstrates what to wear and what not to wear didn't happen. Quote, "We believed a video would be a good way to replace the fashion show, but this video absolutely missed the mark." In Catherine Mooring's eyes, the video shows a double standard in the student dress code and how society treats men and women.
We should be more educated on women's rights. We should be more educated on sexualization and rape culture, because that's what all of this really boils down to, is that somewhere a group of people agreed that this was okay to show, and there wasn't one person who said, maybe we shouldn't do this.
The principal also told parents, "I'm a firm believer that when you make a mistake, you own it, you apologize, and you make it right." Now, we're also told tonight that the principal has met with some of the young women at the school who were offended by the video. The students say they are very happy that that the principal has been open to listening to them, and they feel he has taken ownership for what has happened. Reporting live from Flower Mound, Marianne Martinez, CBS 11 News.
Exactly. I mean, when does school dress codes go? When do these dress codes go far? Is it sexist? All right, we're gonna take a break right now. Next, the question is, when do school dress codes go too far? Is it sexist? Is it racist? We're going to continue looking into this controversy as long as and answer this question when we return. In just a moment. Those dress code videos, that dress code video I showed you, I just wish that people just wear whatever they want, except for underwear. But there's people who will watch this segment might not understand this. But the question is, does it go too far? Do there need to be less rules about this? Here's what Above the Noise has to say.
Alright, what's one thing that this shirt, this cap, this do-rag, even these pants, what do they all have in common? They're all clothes that schools have banned. Take a look at this scene. Does it seem familiar to you?
Your shirt's inappropriate. Cover your shoulders. Take off your cap and no jeans with rips.
If you're in high school or middle school, dress codes are probably something that you're really familiar with. Most dress codes require students to dress modestly so they don't distract or interfere with learning. I remember when I was in middle school, we had to wear uniforms, but you weren't allowed to have long hair. And I had braids, so the first day of school, they literally were like, yo, cut your hair, get out. And in recent years, this old school dress code thinking has gotten heat from opponents who say these policies are sexist and racist because they typically target women and people of color by banning things that they might wear, like short skirts, thin tank tops, or dreadlocks and braids. Like this little boy who was banned from school because of his dreads. According to this analysis from Pudding, the average dress code bans 32 items with numbers reaching as high as 97. It's becoming such a problem that students are using social media to expose this. And it's been getting a lot of media attention. Like this viral video from a Texas school that was meant to teach students the dress code, but missed the mark.
Actually, I was wrong. That was back in 2018.
So the big question is, how should schools decide on dress codes? This is where our friends from Etiwanda High School in Southern California come in. So what's up to Samantha, Sesha, David, and Jinwei? These students are part of a national youth journalism program called PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs. They researched, wrote, and helped produce this episode of Above the Noise.
We asked students from other schools around the nation about how they feel about their dress codes.
I think that the dress code is extremely biased, and it favors the guys, obviously, because they can get away with more.
A girl is getting pulled out of class or a boy is getting pulled out of class so that they can go home or fix their clothes. It disrupts their education.
Personally, I'm not in support of dress code because I don't like the fact that they take away your expressions with how you present yourself.
Some students are so upset by their dress code policies, they're taking matters into their own hands and trying to get their dress code changed. Like the students from Lincoln Middle School in Alameda, California. They worked with their teacher to demand change to the school's dress code policy back in 2016.
I think that they're the perfect issue to get students involved in because it's something so critical, just almost like homework policy, to hear students' voices in. So the more student input on dress codes, I think the better.
I was wearing just ripped jeans that maybe had 2 holes in them, both on the knees, so were higher than that, and just a plain high-collared shirt like this. I was getting pulled out of class, and I think it's just not necessary, and it was disrupting my day at school and made me feel really bad about myself.
Boys and girls were wearing
Absolutely
ripped jeans, and girls were way more targeted and stopped by teachers.
I was involved in school leadership, and we were listening to students, and when this came up repeatedly, we knew that there was a problem.
I ended up writing a couple speeches to present to faculty here and to the school board.
We really wanted to try to create an atmosphere that was more welcoming, where kids felt like they could be themselves. And so when we told the district that, they really started to listen. it ended up being myself as a teacher and 4 middle school students from Lincoln Middle School where I teach, who got to sit down with administrators from all over our school district to come together and discuss how are we going to make these necessary changes. Our goal is for students to be in class and being able to focus on learning, not so much focused on...
All right, I'm gonna stop there. Let's look at the things of what's okay. It's not okay to wear hats. I mean, people are saying that, yeah, we should have the right to wear hats. But I disagree with you there. You can only wear hats after school. If you're not on school property. If you're not on school property, then you can wear your hat. With jeans, I mean, if you're truly cool, you're gonna look cool in pants that have holes in them. What is more important, to learn or to look cool? If you say to learn, you're absolutely correct. If you say, oh, sure, I'm going to look cool for my friends, absolutely not. I don't care. I mean, these people in the news are crying to social media saying that that's racist. I mean, let's go to the hair braiding. I mean, this guy was going to graduate because of the because of the virus. The school superintendent told this happened before the virus. I mean, I think I figured this out. I told you this about this student who was supposed to graduate because of the virus. The superintendent told me he has to cut his hair and not graduate. So this football player told him no. So don't worry that you're right. I understand that, but for males, you cannot have long hair. You gotta have short hair. I mean, graduation is coming up next week for Far Bluff. We'll explain it a little bit. I told you guys this 2 years ago. Graduation is coming up. You need to wear something nice. You not wear shorts, flip flops, all that kind of stuff. Just be nice for the. Just be nice to the people and for the people out there. All right. Let's move on here. Dress code. Let's get out of the dress code. Let's get out of the way of the dress code and move on to something else. Next year, before Memorial Day weekend, before Memorial Day, students in Tuloso Midway protested the graduation after the Tuloso Midway superintendent decided to switch it up to have separate graduates separate days. Hear what I have to say about this after the break. Imagine this for a minute. You're driving down by the Tuloso Midway School, and then all of a sudden you see people out there with signs, people protesting their graduation, and then you decide to honk. That's what happened over the weekend when Tuloso Midway seniors protested the school district's graduation plan. Listen.
A high school took to the streets to protest their upcoming graduation ceremony. Last week, a vote was taken to have a split graduation ceremony over 2 nights. The school district says the change was prompted by class size and the need to adhere to social distancing guidelines. But it's a move that didn't sit well with some seniors.
We're super thankful for TM, and we are super appreciative of the fact that they are being so supportive during these hard times. But all that we ask is that they reconsider the amount of family members that are allowed to be present at our graduation, just to show us one more time that our community can still be together through these difficult moments.
And so far, there's been no response from the school district.
First of all, I don't care. You can't protest. You may have rights, but you do not have the right to protest. As a matter of fact, after this story days ago, I emailed the superintendent of that school to say his reaction. I got no comment. No comment. None. I asked him, he would explain to me about this. If they got approval for this, no comment at all. You can't be protesting this. I mean, after all 45 years, graduation is going to be moved, and the block's going to be moved from the auditorium to the stadium after 45 years. Why couldn't they switch to the auditorium? I asked Dr. David Freeman, the superintendent of Flower Bluff Schools, to give me a response. I had nowhere. No response. So my next step about this is going straight to the district to get answers. We'll have that for you next week. So next Friday's going to be the graduation. And I think I'm going to report from there. Right? We're back in the morning for some great news. I'm going to tell you about, when we come back here, I'm going to tell you some great news and look at tomorrow's Give Me a Break here. Stay tuned. Tomorrow here on Give Me a Break, we're going to look into the shooting that happened over the weekend at the base, where the shooter was identified who worked at Delmar College. He killed he killed some security officers, and I'm going to tell you what happened as I looked into this case. Where could the shooter have lived far away from the base? Could he lived in one of the 3 streets? What happened? What happened, man? What happened? Hear my thoughts about this. And finally, I got some exciting news to share. Wednesday, next week here, on Wednesday, we're gonna have something special. We're gonna have a co-anchor. We got some exciting news to share here. We're gonna have a co-anchor sitting right here next to me. We're gonna have someone sitting right here next to me to explain all the problems that are happening here. Her name is Erica. She's gonna be. It's like the news. She's gonna be sitting next to me as we go through a lot of topics here together. On every 3 days. Again, her name is Erica, and I hope that next week you will get to know her and we'll have a great time together. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow for Give Me a Break Friday. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'll see you next time. Good night.